Chapter 5, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. This is video number 4. In this video, I'll be discussing or explaining about chromosomal theory of inheritance and sex determination. So, to start with, let us first see why Mendel's work on inheritance or characteristic. He did his work in 1865, but it was unrecognized till 1900. Why is it so? This is because at that time communication was not easy. Communication could not be done easily, and his work could not be widely publicized. Second, very important thing, that the concept of factors or genes as stable and discrete unit that controlled the expression of traits and a pair of allele which did not blend. He said that the factors are stable and discrete, and it controlled the expression of trait, and these alleles did not blend. These things were not accepted as an explanation for the continuous variation seen in nature. Third thing, approach of using mathematics to explain biological phenomena was again not accepted by many biologists. And last, Mendel could not provide any physical proof for the factors. In 1900, three scientists, De Vries, Porrens, and von Techtmark, they were working independently but rediscovered Mendel's result and published it. Then in 1902, Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri studied the chromosomal movement during meiosis. And they both said that the behavior of chromosome was parallel to the behavior of genes or factors. And they used chromosome movement to explain Mendel's law. They proposed chromosomal theory of inheritance. According to this theory, the genes are located at specific locations on the chromosome. Chromosomes as well as genes, they both occur in pairs. Homologous chromosomes separate during meiosis, and fertilization restores chromosome number to diploid condition. That means after fertilization, the chromosome number again become diploid, and chromosomes segregate as well as assort independently. In this figure is showing independent assortment of chromosome, which was explained by Mendel. You can see in G1 phase, there are 4 chromosomes shown by different colors. In G2 phase, these chromosomes replicate, and each chromosome is made up of 2 chromatids joined at the centromere. Now, during anaphase 1 of meiosis 1, the homologous chromosome, they segregate out. Now, there can be 2 possibilities at this time. In this figure, 1 possibility is shown, but there can be 2 possibilities. Now, in this, you see that the orange and the green color chromosomes segregate together, and yellow and red chromosomes segregate together. But there can be another possibility also, where the yellow goes with green and the orange goes with red. Thus, gametes will have can have either yellow and orange or yellow and green. So this segregation of one pair of chromosome is independent of another pair. Now, this pairing and this segregation of chromosome will lead to segregation of genes also. They carry. See, if the chromosome present on the genes present on the chromosome will move with the chromosome. So this is how he had explained on in the light of chromosomal theory. Now let us see the next, the work of Morgan. T.H. Morgan, he is known as the father of experimental genetics for his work and discovery on linkage, crossing over, sex linkage, crisscross inheritance, many more. Morgan had actually worked on Drosophila melanogaster. Why did he select Drosophila melanogaster? Because of four reasons. It can be grown easily on simple synthetic medium, complete complete their life cycle in about 2 weeks of time. Single mating could produce large number of progeny, and last, clear differentiation of sexes, that is the male and the female. Now, while he was doing his experiment on Drosophila melanogaster, he hybridized yellow-bodied, white-eyed. He did a dihybrid cross. He took yellow body, white-eyed female and crossed it with brown body, red-eyed male. And in the F1 generation, he intercrossed the F1 generation. He was expecting, because he took two characters, he was expecting that the result will be, the F2 generation ratio will be 9:3:3:1. But he observed that the ratio was not 9:3:3:1. So this showed that the two genes did not segregate independent of each other, because the ratio deviated from 9:3:1. And Mendel, based on this ratio, gave law of independent assortment. So he said, because they are not following this ratio, this shows that the genes do not segregate independent of each other. Furthermore, what did he find? That the portion of parental gene combination was much higher than the non-parental combination. When he had crossed these two, he found 98.7% parental and only 1.3% recombination. So based on this, he said, he actually coined two terms. One, he coined the term linkage. He said that there is a physical association of two genes, and this he named it as what? Linkage or linked genes. Then he also coined a term, recombination. He said, what is recombination? The non-parental combination is recombination. And he concluded that if the genes are present on the same chromosome, then they are linked. Then they give more parental percentage and less non-parental or recombination percentage. And within that also, there can be two types of linkage. The genes can be tightly linked or the genes can be loosely linked. Now, what do you mean by tightly linked or loosely linked? He said that some showed very tight linkage. That means some showed very less recombination frequency. Like, for example, the yellow-bodied, white-eyed females, when they were crossed with brown-bodied, red-eyed female, they only showed 1.3% recombination. So he said that these two genes are tightly linked. They are very close to each other, and thus there is no crossing over between these two genes, and they move together. And we get more of parental type. Second, loosely linked. Even if the genes are present on the same chromosome, they can be loosely linked. Where he took an example of eye color, white color, and size of the wing, miniature wing, and crossed it. He got 37.2% recombination. So the recombination percentage increased. This said that they are present on the same chromosome, these two genes, that is eye color as well as miniature wing, but they are far from each other, and that's why you get more percentage of recombination. Next, let's talk about sex determination. What is sex determination? Now, different organisms, they have different types of sex determination mechanism. Cytological observations in insect led to the development of this concept. Henking in 1981 saw a particular structure in during spermatogenesis in few insects. But he observed that only half of the sperms received that structure and rest half did not receive the structure. So he said that this insect is showing XO type of sex determination, and that the gametes formed by the male are of two types, one receiving this X chromosome and the other one not receiving the X chromosome. Now, depending upon that, there are two types, male heterogamety and female heterogamety. If the males produce two different types of gamete, then it is known as male heterogamety. We know it that in humans, males produce two types of gamete, one containing autosome plus X, another containing autosome plus Y. But males have two types of heterogamety, XXO sex mechanism, sex determination mechanism, and another is XXXY type. XXXO type, it is seen in grasshopper. In this, you can see the male is having autosome plus XO. When it makes the gametes, it's of two types. One gamete will contain autosome plus X, another will contain autosome plus no. O means what? No sex chromosome. Female is having autosome plus XX. Now, you can see the Punnett square. If the female gamete fuses with this male gamete, it will form what? Female AAXX. But when it forms AAXO, it will be a male. Same way, male heterogamety is also seen in XXXY type in humans, where autosome, that is 44 plus XY in male and 44 plus XX in female. It forms only one type of gamete, that is 22 plus X, but males form two different types of gamete. That's why male heterogamety, 22 plus X and 22 plus Y. 22 plus Y fuses with 22 plus X to form what? 44 plus XY. So male heterogamety is of two types. That is XXXY type, which is seen in humans and Drosophila melanogaster, and XXXO type, which is seen in grasshopper. Children, females also, some of the females, like in birds, they also form two different types of gametes, and so it is known as what? Female heterogamety. Just so that no confusion takes place, we denote it with ZZZW. The females by ZW. So they form two types of gamete, A plus Z, A plus W. And male forms only one type of gamete, A plus Z. Now, the last which we will see in uh, sex determination in honeybee. In honeybee, it is known as haplodiplontic sex determination. In honeybee, there are two types honeybee. One is the female honeybee and the male honeybee. Male honeybee known as drone. You know, all children, that male are developed by parthenogenesis. That is, males are developed from unfertilized egg. Now, female is having a diploid cell and undergoes meiosis. Then egg forms haploid gametes. Eggs are haploid, that is 16 in number. Now, this egg and male is already haploid, so it undergoes mitosis and produces sperm, and thus the sperm is also having 16 chromosomes, that is haploid, and the sperm fuses with the egg to produce a diploid female, and the male is formed from the egg, not from the sperm. The sperm will only fuse with the egg to form the female, and the haploid egg undergoes parthenogenesis to form the male. And that's why, what do we say? That the males do not have a father but has a grandfather. Thank you, children.